my uniform, all black.
There you go.
Are you doing pictures with Santa yet?
They're scheduled. They are scheduled. We do have a Santa coming for to our the three studios we have in the greater Nashville area, and so but yes, Santa is a big part of that. So
There you go. I
How
think I
much
stopped
fun?
handing out candy last night at about 600 kids.
oh, nice.
Halloween's such an interesting event.
Well, it's a way to express some people's alter egos, I think.
Right, right,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, here in the Nashville area, we got rain yesterday for we really needed it because we're really in a drought situation. Hadn't had rain in almost 2 months. So
Wow.
we got a lot of rain last night. And so that right at the time that trick-or-treaters were about to head out. So that put a damper literally on everything.
Half of Minnesota got anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow, and we just got the cooler weather. So we were lucky we didn't get all the
Yeah,
snow.
yeah. All right.
It is coming.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah.
Norway.
Not that we don't need it,
Yeah,
except for
absolutely.
in Florida or North Carolina.
It
I
was
know.
Minnesota's warmest October on record.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And September was we were the second since 1860 something. Yeah, 150 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, who says there's climate change?
Yeah.
Well, there's some benefits to climate change here too, and I have a small little container garden in my on my back porch here, and I think I'm going to get a second harvest of potatoes this year because of
We
it.
were collecting tomatoes off our plants up until about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
still
really
collecting
late.
tomatoes. I still am. So yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just got some too off the branch. I just got
Well,
some.
all right. So we are 11 minutes into our meeting. I don't know if we're going to get anybody else joining us. I do welcome everybody who's here. Uh, Greg, have you met everybody who's present, or is this your first time here? I forget. I'm sorry.
This is my very first time on here.
All right. So if we could, let's make a very quick introduction. We've got about 3 minutes before we go. And I'll start out. I'm Dennis. I'm a 24-year Army veteran. Live in Middle Tennessee, and I run a nonprofit called the Price of Freedom Foundation, where we tell the full life stories of those who died while serving in our nation's military. Let's go over to Bob.
Hello there, people. I'm a vet. Um, I got out of the service probably before some of you guys were born. I got out of the service in 1971. It was with NATO, ironically. When I was I was in the Navy. When I was going through transit, waiting for my permanent duty station, they sent me from San Diego for boot camp up to Treasure Island in San Francisco. And most people went through transit in like 2 to 3 weeks. Well, I'm there 90 days and not getting orders, not getting orders, not getting orders. All of a sudden, I get my orders. I got detached from the U.S. Navy. This is right in the height of Vietnam, right? Out of 1,000 guys, 999 of them went to Vietnam. I was choice grade AB for
Hmm.
River Patrol. But instead, I got detached from the U.S. Navy and assigned to NATO. And spent my entire 3 years in Norfolk, Virginia. So
Uh,
that's my story.
cool. Santa Papa John, real quick.
Real quick. All right. Well, I am, of course, I'm Santa, and I make all kinds of happy videos and share happy, positive, joyful memories for everybody. But I also have a serious love for our veterans, and I've created a whole new website called the Warriors Beacon of Hope, where I am on the verge or trying to put together a national list of services that will help our veterans. because I hear all the veterans are tired of waiting for 6, 7, 8 months to get services. So if I can offer them a choice, I'm trying my best to put a list together. So
Appreciate that.
people,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
for
you
your
much.
service.
Alicia, real quick.
Hello. I'm Alicia Beccarelli. I spent some time in the Marine Corps. Choices were made when I was 18 and we went with it. Married someone in 82nd Airborne. And so when we were back east, decided that I was not going to re-enlist. And here we are 20 years later. I run two small businesses. I run a small bookkeeping business that focuses on small businesses that don't carry inventory, just service-based businesses. And then I also run an automations business where I help small businesses get their CRMs up and running and their customers in and help them to create automated onboarding and connect everything across the board from their bookkeeping to their emails so that they can do as little as possible while still running their business and doing the thing that they actually wanted to do when they came into it.
Excellent. Thank you. Moshe, quick introduction before we get to our featured speaker, please.
My name is Moshe Math. I'm a partner in a company called Neurotrain Sciences. Crap. I get to ignore my wife. Hi, honey. I'm in a meeting right now.
Teach me how to do that.
uh, you're living with your wife. You can't. We'll be together soon. I won't get away with it either. But I'm a partner in a company called Neurotrain Sciences. Our systems look similar to the massage chairs at the airport, but we use, unlike theirs, we offer sonic massage. We use sound, light, and vibration to take your mind and body through a voyage. Our most popular sound session is relaxation through brainwave entrainment. So quickly, brainwave entrainment is when your computer freezes and it's either too heavy or too expensive to throw against the wall in frustration. So you turn it off and on again and hope it forgot I had a problem. And that's what we're doing with the brain in a 20-minute sound session. We have a whole bunch of other ones as well, but that's her calling me now at the house phone. Anyways, that's what we do. So thank you for your patience, and I'm going to go and listen to her while I'm listening to the speaker.
All right. Thanks, Moshe. All right, Greg, thank you so much for being our featured speaker. Mehdi, if you could give the controls over to Greg to tell his story. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you all for having me today. Right quick, I'm going to share a screen. So I have a nice little slim slideshow going on right here. Give me 1 sec here. Turn screen. Share. I don't think I'm allowed to share through your guys' controls right now.
I saw a notification saying that they made you the host, so you should have that ability to share.
Hitting share screen is not allowing me to do it.
Oh,
there we go.
There we go.
Technology.
Yeah, I'm here. Hold on. Give me a second, Santa.
There you go, Greg.
I'm the pressure freedom.
Screen, window, share. There we go.
There
Now
we
can do
go.
this right. Oh goodness. All right. So again, my name is Greg Doss, former Air Force veteran, 6 years in, now disabled vet, or disabled vet, so I can call myself Staff Sergeant again if I wanted to. But usually I just call by Greg. Did my time over with these various commands and these various squadrons all together. So Special Operations Command, AFSOC, JSOC, SOCOM, PACAF mostly is my bread and butter. I did for about 4 years. Spent time over in Korea, Hickam Air Force Base, and then Nellis. My squadrons I started with was Combat Com as a GSU out of Osan over Camp Humphreys. 15th Com Squadron over at Hickam Air Force Base. So I was the base Com. And last was with Special Operations doing Predator with this nice, beautiful MQ-1 that I have on the screen right now. Quick biography. Currently, I live in Jonesboro, Georgia. I'm the son of a USMC Marine Corps Force Recon Vietnam vet. He served from 68 to 68. Got blown out with Foxhole at probably about 67, give or take. And then got recovered there, Kadena, and then went back to the States and recovered the rest of the way working at the old, now probably non-existent Dude Ranch that was out there on base for morale and recreation purposes. Currently, I'm married to the Marine Corps brat, 23 years. We have a son and daughter together. Also have our high school sweethearts technically during middle school, but reconnected during high school. Long line military service in my family. I can trace it back to at least one person per generation from my family tree for at least the U.S. for the French Indian War and forward for my dad's side, and from World War II for my mom's side. Last name comes from a line of German knights. So my mom's side has Samurai lineage. Originally born and from Oahu, so I am Kama'aina. Grew up on what they call the 9th Island in Hawaii, and from those Kama'aina, Nevada, 60 miles northwest of Vegas, from second grade to high school. The reasons why I joined the Air Force, I knew I had a small desire to continue the family business, serving your country. Didn't quite know what I wanted to do for a professional career job after high school. Kind of had an idea, but not really a full one at the time. Didn't know if I wanted to go to college and what my major would be if I did. Couldn't afford college on my own. If I went, even with the state scholarship, because it's only like $4,000 I earned for a state scholarship, so that's nothing when it comes to a 4-year college. I knew I would need to leave the middle of nowhere and see the world besides stay at a place that had nothing to offer for careers or for young people. As I said, stationed at Lackland Air Force Base, had training over here at Fort Gordon, Georgia, now called Fort Eisenhower in Augusta. Camp Humphreys, Hickam, and Nellis did TDYs out to Keesler. JPAC deployment to Comduc, Vietnam. JPAC is now known as DPAA, Defense or POW MIA Accounting Command, and Osan Air Base back there for a quick stint. Also, as a federal contractor, I deployed out to Afghanistan to go help out my fellow brothers and sisters, especially in the Marine Corps, doing installation, maintenance, and repair, and training for the Marines for the Con RSID systems that they worked with on their vehicles, as well as during foot patrols from 2010 to 2012, and mostly in Helmand Province. My squadrons were 607th, 15 Com. So 607 was technically under the 7th Air Force, so I was kind of on the Air Force level as far as the number of Air Forces. 3rd Special Operations Command, their squadron. Their legacy is Medal of Honor recipient Sergeant John Levito, as far as part of their lineage, which he earned that during when the squadron was called the 3rd Air Combat Squadron, when they used to fly the Spookies in Vietnam. Or not Spookies, but Puffs, excuse me, the AC-47s. My AFSC or MOS for the other military branches was 2E171 Satellite Wideband and Telemetry Systems Craftsman. My medals and honors and awards include Air Force Training Ribbon, NCO PME Graduate Ribbon, Longevity Service Ribbon, Overseas Short Tour, Overseas Long Tour ribbons, Korean Defense Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Air Force Good Conduct Medal with 1 Oak Leaf cluster, Outstanding Unit Ribbon with 4 bronze Oak Leaf clusters and 1 Valor device, V device. Air Force Meritorious Unit Award, Air Force General Green Outstanding Communications Squadron Award, part of squadron time when we got that. 2 Squadron Commanders coins, 1 Air Force Sergeant, First Sergeant's coins, Team of the Month, honorary security forces beret because I did 90 days of a augmentation stint, so I qualified technically by their standards to actually receive a beret for doing that and being assigned to them. And outstanding performer of the month. Education for me, my background includes a AAS from CCF, Community College of the Air Force for Electronic Systems Technology, one in finance with honors from Ashworth College, a bachelor's of science and management from Ashworth College, PMP training from IVMF, Institute of Veterans and Military Affairs out of Syracuse University, and certified for federal COR2 from DAU Betas. Currently, I work with at the VA Medical Center here in Atlanta as the electronics technician for the non-medical equipment in the hospital, and at 2 of the fully owned C box for the Atlanta VA healthcare system. I have a total of 14 years of federal civil service that actually count. I wish the rest of my 23 years would count, but unfortunately it's contract time. Altogether, 23 years federal government and electronics for industrial, security, special, life safety, and telecom. So I stayed pretty much with my background as far as my training from the military, and continue on has provided me a very good career that I get paid pretty decently for, especially work for the government and civil service. I'm currently a life member of VFW, DAV, IAVA, JAVA. If we don't know what that is, that's Japanese American Veterans of America. Korean Defense Veterans of America, KDVA, U.S. Association of Martial Artists, AUSA, which is part of a perk for being a member of KDVA. So the Army U.S. or U.S. Army Association. So I probably had that spelled wrong. And Emerging Vets Players and Atlanta. So for KDVA, just to further explain for those that are on the call, if you did serve in Korea from 55 forward and doing Korean defense, you're eligible, and it's a free association to be part of. And those that are also interested in continuing the alliance, that's free as well to be part of a member of that. There are some perks to that as well. One for at least for the veteran side of the house is a VIP trip back to Korea, all paid for by the Ministry of Patriotism and Veterans Affairs for the Korean government. And also you just pay a half for a guest that goes with you. The only thing you got to worry about is pretty much just spending money at the end of the day for that. There's also some scholarships as well. Currently also a member, or still got to pay renewing my membership, a member of JACL, so Japanese American Citizens League, an advocate for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islanders, as well as military and veteran communities. Former junior vice commander for the post and service officer for VFW. In the martial arts side of the house, I have a first degree black belt Taekwondo, based out of the headquarters for World Taekwondo and Kukkiwon in Seoul, South Korea, and a former national state and local champion for open style and Taekwondo tournament circuits. Crazy enough, I ended up lucking out this last year from a previous application I did, but I have background acting shots for me in Cobra Kai season 6, part 2, and episode 14 for part 3. Part 2 will be out next month on the 15th. They're actually this month, excuse me, we're on November. And part 3 will be out probably around February. I also have some stuff in Law of Toughness. That movie comes out in August 2025. Military Makeover at Montel Williams, and the Marquez family episodes that was done here in Decula, where we did a Marine Corps veterans home. As far as interior and exterior. As I do enjoy fishing, golfing, music, traveling, volunteering, advocacy, spending time with family and friends, guitar, singing, background acting, and martial arts. So some of the pictures I have up here, since it's just easier to go through the wording instead of the pictures first process. So as I said, I'm a war terrorism vet. I'm also technically a Gulf War vet because I joined in June 2001, so I'm kind of on that weird cusp. So 9/11, post 9/11, dual war and terrorism, and 9/11 vet of KDSM, Korean Defense Service Medal. First duty station out after I got done with the training over at Fort Gordon was actually into Korea. So I got introduced to tactical communications very early in my career, and it kind of made me a better person in a way as far as for my career and knowledge and stuff of that nature. Uh, we all had dedicated areas we went to around the peninsula. We were the sole main asset for the Air Force at the time for tactical communications in case something did happen in Korea. That we were on peninsula and immediately deployed out.
Can I interrupt for a minute, Greg? You want
Go
to
ahead.
scroll your screen down? We can actually see the pictures you're talking about.
Sorry.
I'm only seeing the top pictures of the drone and the Air Force with all the badges.
Huh. Okay. Let's see. See all the slides. That's weird. I'm sharing and it's not going. Is it not going through?
No, all we're seeing is the screen, just slideshow
Someone
stuff.
should have said something earlier. Now I feel bad.
You were doing such a great description, though, Greg.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
no worries.
sorry. Let's see.
that was good.
Display settings. Duplicate. Is that better? Or is that worse?
It basically refreshed the screen. So if there's a button to start the slideshow, I think down at the bottom that would show the screen. So now it's gone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to fix this problem. Stand by. I hate Zoom. I really do at times. Let's try this again. Window. Share window. Share. Do you see the window?
Now I see the window. We're seeing
how it
the second slide. So
Okay,
Biographical.
well, I'll leave it like this to make it a little bit easier so you can see.
There you
there
go.
we go.
There you
There
go.
we
Okay,
go.
now
All we
we're
need.
back.
Hey.
All right, is that better?
There we go.
Yay.
Now we're good.
Yes.
Now technology problems. And I'm the person that knows how to fix some of them. That's sad.
It's at the shoemaker to work who goes with rundown heels.
But as I was saying, so yeah, Korea Defense Service Medal. So I was 10th time in Korea. So especially first like out of training duty station. Got tactical experience early on from that because of that. Made me a better technician, really, honestly, at least myself, because today I'm more of a try to be more efficient versus do things as I can kind of person. I've always kind of been that way, but it kind of pushed me more towards that way. So obviously base training 2001 finished off. This is from our JPAC deployment. So we were deployed out to what they call Calm Duc. So back when we were in the Vietnam War, Calm Duc was the valley area, and then on top of the mountains there were 4 observation posts for over base support for artillery and such, and observations to make sure the base is secure. The main purpose of that base, the air base at the time, was special operations designated 3 mountaintops away from being in Laos. So, of course, Ho Chi Minh Trail was the biggest thing for observation and maintaining. We were on OP1, Observation Post 1, to go in for 3 personnel that were missing and or KIA during Tet Offensive that happened when the NVA and Viet Cong overran that site, as well as many others. Something related to that as far as the Air Force wise, there is actually a pilot, I think a major, during the Vietnam War that actually got a Medal of Honor out of that issue or that attack for trying to get everybody else as quick as possible out of that base. I think he was just a cargo pilot at the time for the C4 or C-47s instead of the AC-47s, but because of that, they tried to get it evacuated out immediately, and they got out. So because of that, he got his Medal of Honor. Down below, I actually have a friend of mine that was with I served with on the communications. He actually lucked out and got assigned to the Thunderbirds as far as the comm team goes. So met up with him over here, took a couple pictures of him and a couple pilots and stuff. So this mountaintop right here is actually the mountaintop we were on. We were allowed to go down to the village one day, climb down, climb back up. It's a very steep hike down, steep hike back up. It's a good like 40 to 45 degree incline declines in most parts. how they used to sit there and say during Vietnam, you see bamboo vipers. I had one pretty close to my face in one of the trees, so I kind of had to back up and let it go by itself one day, or going down the mountain. Locally here, we have a lot of South Vietnamese that relocated during the war, and high Vietnamese population because of it as well too. But they and local area, as well as some other organizations and local city government of Morrow, built a memorial over in their city park by the city hall area. So that's what that is right there. As you can see, it's a U.S. flag plus the South Vietnamese flag. This right here is probably familiar to some that were in Vietnam and forward, but we use the old deuce and a half, so from the Vietnam era in Korea to get around and haul our trailerized QRSA SATCOM antenna was 20 foot, as well as some other equipment that was trailerized. Going to family stuff. So also while I was in Korea, they have a plaque in their National War Museum up in Seoul, right outside what used to be still Yongsan area, but no longer a base that the U.S. has up there. Everything's been pulled back to Camp Humphreys mostly for the headquarters for the 8th Army. But they have a plaque up there for NATO as well as for South Korean deaths for the number and what countries they were. This is myself getting a plaque for, or rather, get my honorary security forces beret. During World War II, my grandfather served in the Navy. He was drafted into the Navy. This is them in China. He served in the LSTs. He was a motor machinist mate, also known as a motor Mac, 3rd class. So an E4. This is the interior of the meeting room for the North-South up Pyongyang. And then this is outside of my training squadron. It was over here at our detachment over here at Fort Gordon when it still was over here. Everything since then has been moved back to Keesler for all the comm and cyber stuff for the Air Force. And of course, there's my wife Amanda. Group photo for a squadron over in the bay in Korea for 607. This right here may be hard to see. I'll blow it up. But General Hal Moore, that name should be very familiar, at least for the Vietnam War. Hence the reason why they changed the base from Fort Benning to Fort Moore. He and his wife are actually buried at the base cemetery, on the National Base Cemetery. Well, We Were Soldiers, that movie, and or the real account of it for the Latrine defense and attack, that's his claim to fame. And he was very much as well as his wife, an advocate. And part of the reason why we have the notification type system today for any kind of deaths or such related to that kind of stuff for battles and our military. This is over in Marja. I took that picture for one of the headquarters for the local national Afghani governments. That was one of the places that was very hard fought in battle. During that time frame, there's still some incoming small arms fire and a couple of things going on around there when I was out there. Every year, myself and my kids, stuff like that, usually go out to the national cemeteries. We usually go out to either what's now Fort Moore, and which should be Benning, or up to Georgia National for Race Across America, and help with that project every December. My dad, my mom, my mother-in-law also is a vet. Like I said earlier, she's one of the in-laws. Both her and my father-in-law were air wingers during the 80s for the F4. She did the avionics electronics, and my father-in-law did the hydraulics pneumatics for the aircraft. Again, kids, price of freedom. Obviously, we know for those that have served and those that support us, freedom is not free. And that's something kind of stuck with me even more so because it's also on the one national monuments statues over in Korea as well, at their National War Memorial up in Seoul. This I took over at OP Gorgak, which is a observation post, combat observation post, in the very outskirts of Helmand province. And locally, there's a bell here that's been it's over about 400 years old now. Originally, it was slated to be melted down during World War II by the Japanese government. It was taken from a shrine or a temple to be used for ammunition meltdown purposes. Somehow, some way that didn't happen. Some private collector got it, and now it's currently outside the Carter Center over here for the Presidential Library for President Carter. The recently, through the Japanese associations out here and some donors, they built a new hanging tower for it outside, so now it's permanently on display. So if you guys ever come out here, it's out there. It's free for anybody to get to. It's easy to get to. I also have my other personal story that I did recorded for the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. And I have the link right here, which I can repost in the chat as well.
Yes, please do put it in the chat. That would be great. I'm a big advocate of the Veterans History Project Library of Congress is doing. But I'm just
my true Holloway claim to fame. Right here for Cobra Kai. And that's gonna be on Netflix for those who actually have that subscription. That is my story overall. Are there any questions or anything comments wise you have for me? I know it's kind of quick, but
Covered
Yeah,
a lot of information.
yeah,
A lot of
you
territory, yeah. Sure did.
did quite a lot, that's for sure, and appreciate what you're continuing to do. There with the VA serving our fellow veterans, and I guess my question would be if what would be the primary things that you would say, looking back on your service, that influenced you, the experience you had while serving that influenced you and are driving what you do now?
That's a good question because it kind of it relates to family as well as kind of what I did service wise, but the definitely going back to JPAC and lucking out, it really is for the fact looking out for the fact it's a special pick. You have to be E4 and above to actually get picked for that. And sometimes things didn't work out. So in my case, I had the mission for the valley area in the village area, but my mission got canceled. But due to the fact that somehow, some way, my wife and my mother-in-law tell me I excuse the French, but shit gold all the time and luck out. So, but the IT specialist from the Navy apparently did not learn their stuff very well when it came to our training that we had going on. So they kicked that person out and they put me in instead. So I became the new commo for that team that went on OP1. Something interesting up there too is that history-wise, you still see the bomb craters that are like 25 feet, in diameter from linebacker 1 and 2. So they haven't gone away from those depressions up there because there's no one to redig through it or whatever. But overall, family definitely. You kind of listen to people that have been in combat, and in my case, my dad was like, "Yeah, Marine Corps is okay," but I got blown off a foxhole and I got recovered over Kadena. I saw the quality of life was a lot better. So that definitely influenced me. I'm definitely a person where when I went into basic, I was definitely bullheaded a lot. I still kind of am, I'll be honest. To the point where my own Jones or TI was like telling my family, especially my wife, our girlfriend at the time, fiance, that I was extremely stubborn. So, and that's why I got certain things I got. But overall, it's very intelligent. So, because I failed certain things as far as possibly almost getting recycled, but I somehow did escape that because I also didn't do what I was supposed to and left my hand down when I told not to volunteer for things by my recruiter. But I did that, didn't listen to him apparently during basic when I showed up receiving, and they asked who could play the instrument, and I ended up in band flight instead of my normal flight. So I had to figure out how to do things quick. In Air Force, at least, that's their technical school for those that actually go to band careers. But a lot of TIs don't like that because they have a short amount of time. Yes, we do as far as a flight in general, as a group, usually mature faster, supposedly according to them, but we have less time to do things as far as the stuff that we need to actually get through for Air Force basic training requirements to graduate out. So, but knowing what I know now versus then, it has driven my success. I don't like to sit around as much as possible. I do like to relax, but I can't just sit here. At times, it drives me insane. And with my current job, there's times I'm just sitting here. I'll be honest, getting paid well, but having nothing to do sometimes drives me insane. So I have to try to be busy. I'm happy I served, and I will do it again. Um, and it's allowed me to show others the way forward versus the way backward.
Thank you. Any other comments from or questions? Santa Papa John, Moshe, Alicia?
So you're in Atlanta now?
Currently, I'm in Atlanta, yes. I have lived, once I got out of the military, I was doing career-wise after I got out of the military. So I did space tracking for the Air Force as a contractor over at White Sands Missile Range, Stein sector over in Socorro area. Then after that, went to Afghanistan. I actually moved out there on my own dime originally, and Northrop Grumman kind of semi-lied to me. They said 4.5 years the contract was good to go, but a year and a half later they were rebidding on the contract and BAE won it. But they did not bid on the overtime because it was only like 12 people per site, and there's only 3 of those sites in the world. One being in Socorro for Det 1, Det 2 is over in Diego Garcia, and Det 3 is over on Maui for that purposes. So, but because of that, I ended up going to had some stuff and solid opportunity at least to try to get some personal finances in order, and went overseas for 2 years in Afghanistan. Learned a lot. Personally, it was a personal mission of mine for the fact that I kind of felt that I didn't get a chance to go, which because I didn't really go over to the sandbox the entire time I was in. So I was kind of happy for that, for the fact I escaped that danger. But on the back end, I kind of felt akin to should have went, but having that personal guilt a little bit, to be honest with that. Then came back, went to school for a little bit, tried to get my double E degree over at New Mexico Tech, what they call the MIT of the West. For a very, very, very good reason, for the fact that they try to weed everybody out, no matter what type of degree, whether it's STEM or not, with required to take physics 1 and 2, engineering 1 or Gen Chem 1 and 2, and also calculus 1 and 2. Math has always been my strong suit, but I figured out when I got to calculus and trig, not so much.
Nobody likes calculus.
So, but in the process of doing that, I lucked out. I got a co-op position with the National Radio Astronomy site over there at VLA. Everybody knows it as where they film Contact at. Out there on the San Augustine Plains near Daddle, New Mexico. It was kind of a neat thing to do for about 4 years. Was junior engineer for RF protection for a little bit for the co-op, and then moved on to become a tech for the fiber optics service or servo sector out there, and then eventually moved out here for better opportunity. At the time, worked for the Bureau of Prisons, and then I transferred to the VA in October 2022, as a matter of fact. Mainly moved out here because of the time in New Mexico. My wife has a rare, what they call a rare neurological brain disorder called, or a neurological disorder. It's all originally known as pseudotumor cerebri, but it's known also as idiopathic intracranial hypertension, where the body for some reason creates too much spinal fluid, and it acts like a tumor and puts pressure on the brain and the optic nerves. So being closer to Emory and Johns Hopkins and Mayo Clinic and Duke is a lot better over here for that, because they study that on a regular basis. So for that, and as well as for my kids, for opportunities. Out in the middle of the desert, there wasn't much there. I got tired of missing the green, as far as green grass, green trees, risk for being in a tropical climate. So
Thank you for clarifying the green. I thought you were going to talk about golf for a moment.
no.
No,
Just green in
that's
general. Desert is great for some beauty, but otherwise, it gets tiresome after a while.
no, yeah. I'm in Phoenix, and our sunsets are gorgeous, but I actually, you were mentioning like back there for the medical stuff and the greenery. I've actually been looking at moving back to the East Coast because
It
so
got
we're in Phoenix.
8 million people down here right now in the Atlanta metro area. We have a lot of good amount of vets and a lot of opportunities for veterans out here. I'll tell you that, if you're looking to come back this way.
Yeah, because I mean, I just got notice the other day. I have 5 kids, and 3 of them are younger. My son has epilepsy and carry
Wow.
malformation, and an appointment with a neurosurgeon because he's having trouble seeing and he has a spinal fluid leak. And we just got notice from Blue Cross federal employee, from his dad is a federal employee, that Phoenix Children's just stopped accepting his insurance. And I was like, oh,
Choa is one freaking great hospital out here. I'll tell you that now. Because
I was like, we may have no choice but to move if we don't have medical coverage at
yeah, no, I fully
the
understand.
children's
So
hospital.
just as an example too, so my daughter also has, due to bloodline, and then problems from both ends. So her eyes, for one, had one of her, I think it was her left eye, was drifting because like one of the muscles like too tight. So they had to do special surgery. She's had special surgery since she's like 4, because her airway was so tight. So they had to break her jaw, do special periodontal and all that stuff, orthodontics rather, to get her airway open correctly and her jaw fixed right. And then it was great out there in New Mexico for the most part, but we lucked out overall because her eye surgeon, because she has that issue, which we found out later, but eyelids, where her cornea was getting scratched by her eyelashes. Her surgery doctor and ophthalmologist out there was studied at Duke University, and she was like, "Yeah, this is good for you," because that's how my wife got diagnosed. So like, yeah, this doesn't add up right. But initially found out for the fact that my wife was supposed to go in for some turbinoid and trying to think, tonsil surgery. But when they went for the anesthesiologist to verify, okay, we're good to go, everything looks right, her eyelids were dilated differently. One was bigger and one was like a pin size at the time. So that created other things. And then Tripler overall is great for some things, but not for OBGYN. That's part of the reason why I have some mental issues overall, that I've seen death a little bit too much when it comes to my own family members. And then also right at basic training, which I didn't go to either. My 5th week of basic training, you can look it up, but the Air Force first sergeant that was in charge of the EOD training squadron, flunky from the EOD, decided to send a package bomb, and she lost an arm because of it. So we were on guard duty for at least a week before I graduated basic training, with all barbed wire, ECPs, and all the squadrons and medical areas. So that was interesting. That was my introduction to insider attacks overall, for that. But I digress. But overall, yeah, the Atlanta area is pretty great. There's a lot of people moving back out here from everywhere. Movie industry is big out here, movie, film, TV. There's like 5 different major studios out here now. One down in Fayetteville, one up here in Doraville where the GM plant used to be, and then a few other major ones around the area. So there's that. But opportunities wise, the state is very good about that. They have an entire dedicated like training center and an employment center for veterans down in the Warner Robins area that goes everywhere within at least mostly the southeast area, so up to South Carolina and that. They have some free training programs. Two of them recently is like avionics tech and electronics tech they added within this next cycle. So it's good for that. Medical care is great. You have Emory, which is one of the premier universities or medical facilities in the world that's a research. So they constantly are on the edge. The VA is partnered with Emory as far as our specialists are concerned. So we get some of the top people around here. Like my endocrinologist that I have is a known person for being one of the adjunct professors or main professors over at Emory for that kind of specialty. My nephrologist, renal specialist rather, same thing. He's well known. He's like the head of the renal department over at Emory. So he knows what he's doing. But he just retired out here from the VA side, but still works for Emory as a doctor over there. So just something to think about. We're usually protected from any kind of hurricanes or tornadoes generally. So
Right.
just to kind of give you a better idea for weather-wise for extreme weather.
Thank you. Lots of information.
Yeah, lots. We're lucky to get it.
All right. Well, I
Very,
thank you so much for being our guest. I hope that you will consider joining us whenever you can in the future to hear our other featured speakers. And I know that this is not necessarily the best time of day for folks who have regular jobs, but when you can, that registration link that you use is good for any of our meetings. And we'd like to see some of our featured speakers join us as participants so I think that hearing stories like yours is valuable. And so I'd like to extend that invitation. I'd also like to recommend putting in your contact information into the chat. I'm just about to do that myself here. And basically encourage folks to have conversations outside of this meeting because I'm all about encouraging folks to make connections and to be able to assist each other, and most of the time that's going to be outside of just this limited 1 hour time frame. So I'm going to do this right here. There we go. Oh,
And again, my link for the VHP is in the chat as well. If you guys want to copy that to yourselves.
It's all good stuff.
absolutely. All right. Any closing thoughts here before we close out our meeting this week? Thank you.
It was a good one.
Thank
Another
you.
good
Another good one, Bob.
All right.
Always.
Yes.
Thank you all. I wish you all a very safe and happy weekend, and God bless you all.
Same
Have a good
here, and
weekend.
happy Veterans Day coming up soon. So,
Yes.
Yep. Thanks again.
all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Goodbye. all.
Ed. God
Bye.
bless.
Bye now.